So I'm going to be ready to transplant this watermelon. It's a miniature, and what I did was I started the seed, put it in, just on a paper towel with some RO water, a little bit. At any rate, once they sprouted, I put them in Rockwool. You can see the cube down there, I think. You see that? See it, and I've covered it up because otherwise the Rockwool does start to grow algae on top of it. So once they sprouted, I put them in here, and this is a 1 gallon fat sack. So it's sort of like a Smart Pot. I have a couple different brands, but this one I like because they're a little bit lower and a little wider for the 1 gallon. At any rate, you can see, I use clay, pellets, balls, whatever you want to call them. So what I wanted you to see is as the water comes in, it does wick up. It'll go into the Rockwool, and the reason I'm ready to transfer this one, if you can see right there, see right there, that little root. So the root's starting to come through, so I'm going to put it, and you can maybe see it down in there, I'm going to put it in its own sack and plant it and let it, well, I'm going to do this one also with it. I'm going to put both of them in there, and I don't see a root out of this one yet, but these both had their seed shells still on them yesterday, and I did very gently remove them. That one's come along really nicely. This one's still just getting acclimated to the light. So, alrighty, wanted you to see that and see how you can see all the moisture in there. And the time now is 1 o'clock, which means this did just, oh no, this is flooded at 7:45 this morning, and you can see that it's still moist in there underneath. So, yep. So this is how I transplant. Look, I'm experimenting. I don't know if this is the best way, but this is how I'm doing it now. So you can see now I have a fat sack that is 2 gallon, or it says 2 gallon size. And I've put just a very light layer of the stones at the bottom there. Then I'm going to take and put both of those watermelons on either side here, so they have a nice space, and then I'm going to top fill around them. So I'll come back when I've done that. So being really careful here, and you can see I do reuse my clay pellets. I do rinse them, but sometimes you can find little bits of other roots and things in here. So really carefully, you just pour them in, trying to not, cover over your plants. And then from there, you can kind of move it around so that what you want to do is make sure that you have it up. And I'm doing this with the camera. I've got to get a camera stand. Anyways, I'm going to bring it up just so it's to the top of these, and then as they grow, I'm going to top fill in around them. So I'll come back when I'm finished. So there you go. And the only other thing that I did do here is that I did just do a top watering with the ebb and flow from the reservoir, because this bucket, when I put it in here, or this pot, was not wet, didn't have the moist bottom, so I did just pour some through here so that, because this is going to sit now for a while until the next flooding, which I said should be at 2:45, I think it is, or 1:45. So, okay, so here's my container. You can see this one I did not pre-soak the seeds. These just actually, that's not true. All right, let me start over here. So these I did pre-soak these seeds because I have another container that I just put the seeds in and didn't soak them first. So I'm trying this. This is actually like almost 3 days ahead of the other container. The ones that opened up and rooted in less than, it's a little over 24 hours, I should say, were these peas. They are early peas, so I'm going to plant those. I've also in this these are the habaneros, and so my other ones, they're soaking in the same thing. RO water with just, the pH was adjusted to about 6.0, let's say. These habaneros just have little teeny tails on them. I can see they're just starting. I will take a look at those tomorrow. In here, I think was the tomato maybe, or the celery. That must be tomato. Over here was the celery. Those had nothing, but the peas, they're ready to go. All right, so let me show you how I said this was RO water, pH to 6.0, that's true, but I also put in, when I'm soaking these, a little bit of humic acid. I think it's a ratio of 1 to 100. It's less, not just a little tiny bit that you put in. Alright, so what I do is, now I've soaked some, these are 1/2-inch Rockwool cubes because I use clay pellets, so I don't want to use a whole big one. This water is RO water, pH to 5.5, and I did that because that's usually what they recommend for Rockwool, and also because once I start using the nutrients, these quickly go right back to where it should be. So, I'm going to take the Rockwool, split it in half, lay the pea in it, and then put it in one of these with some pellets around it. So I'll show you what that looks like. For working with Rockwool, now I'm right-handed, I'm doing this with my left so I can use the camera, but you know, you have it soaking in the water. You don't want all this water to be, you know, kept in it, and you don't want to squeeze it, because if you squeeze it, it's going to squish it up and you won't be able to use it very well. So the trick is to take, and this is with my left hand, so probably not that great, but you flick it. So you just kind of flick it a couple times without squeezing it, and then you'll have the perfect consistency where it's not too wet, not too dry. There you go. So you can see I just split the Rockwool in half and took that root, laid it right in there, and I squeezed around it. It's got a little poking out there, I think. Maybe. Oh, you can't see. Okay, so you can see I went in, I tucked some clay pellets around the Rockwool and the pea with the shoot. These containers, I think this is the same one. I bought the wrong ones because they got just 4 slats in the bottom, and so with the clay pellets you have to put large ones in the bottom or else they'll fall through. That was a mistake I made. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pot and get it situated in there, and then I'll probably add maybe another couple pellets just over top here. Okay, so there you can see I put it into the, this one is a fat sack, and right now there's nothing else in there with this pea, but I'm going to put another pea in there, and then shortly is those chocolate habaneros. Okay, so they're all planted, and we should be getting a water any second, so these should be set to go. I will give you an update later, be doing a garden update, and then also keep an eye on how these do and what the other seedlings look like. We'll kind of compare. Alright, peace out.